Good evening. Thank you for joining us tonight for the English edition of Aura News. Prime Minister Rama considered the call to arms by the former Prime Minister Sali Berisha to be ridiculous. Yesterday, Mr. Berisha called on Albanian citizens to arm themselves. Prime Minister Rama thinks that the aim of the former Prime Minister is to impede justice reform. The Prime Minister considers Sali Berisha's statement to be part of a plan by the Democratic Party to obstruct the reform. Sali Berisha knows better than anyone that the White House recommends adopting the reforms, just like he knows he should not disregard the messages from the White House, like the Assembly rules, which he has never respected. Berisha and the Democratic Party do not want justice reform, as the pressure from the public and from international governments increase regarding the justice reform, tensions will increase in the Assembly. The statement was made to create a grave atmosphere in order to justify the abandonment of the reform, Rama said. The Prime Minister calls the citizens not to take Berisha's statement seriously. Do not take that people will get armed seriously. You should instead be worried about the resistance they are making. I assure you that the judicial reform will be adopted. It remains to be seen with what price, concluded the Prime Minister. The Bureau of Parliament excluded the Democrat MP Sali Berisha from Parliament for 10 days after his contentious statement in Parliament. The decision of the Bureau was made after the request of Socialist Party MPs who argued that Berisha violated Article 2 of the Criminal Code. After the decision of the Bureau, the Democrat MP Spaho said that this decision was simply revenge against Berisha. I declared in the meeting of the Bureau that the request of the SP MPs is a shameful attempt to manipulate a statement made by Mr. Berisha, who was reminding the citizens that the government does not defend them because the majority is connected to crime. This is an effort of the majority to remove the attention from the fundamental problem we have been facing for 3 years, the close connection the government has with organized crime, he said. Meanwhile, the Socialist MP, Basha, reiterated his call to the prosecution to launch an investigation against the former Prime Minister. Basha said, the Bureau considered Berisha's statement illegal. They decided to exclude Berisha for 10 days. The prosecution should launch an investigation of Berisha. His statement was not spontaneous, but instead it was a well-thought-out statement. Berisha made that statement on purpose to impede the justice reform. Democratic Party Chairman Basha reacted to the Prime Minister's statement, saying that the Prime Minister is trying to deflect attention from the facts and evidence that connect him with Emiliano Shullazi. Basha defended the former Prime Minister, saying, he made a statement which is not a decision or an initiative. His statement proposed actions in consideration of the criminal situation in the country, only a proposal. The Prime Minister is trying to deflect attention from his connection with Shullazi, said Basha. The DP chairman declared that if the prosecutors and international partners had not taken action, Emiliano Shullazi would have continued with his criminal activities with the Prime Minister's support. According to the DP chairman, the Prime Minister does not want the judicial reform. He stated that the time to follow the law has come, and with the judicial reforms, the arrests of criminals who have been supported by the Prime Minister have begun. Albania's U.S. Ambassador Donald Liu has resumed his tour of meetings with the opposition. He held a meeting with the Democratic Party chairman, Basha, at the DP headquarters, where he stayed for more than 45 minutes. There is not any official notification about the meeting, but the sources within the Democratic Party say that they discussed the judicial reform and also the arrest of Emiliano Shullazi, whom the U.S. ambassador has publicly denounced. Earlier today, the U.S. ambassador and the EU ambassador, Rama held a meeting with the former Prime Minister Sali Berisha. The meeting comes after the former Prime Minister's controversial statement in Parliament. The statement issued to the media from the former Prime Minister's press office says that the conversation was focused on justice reform, the government's connection with crime, and the state police leader's direct connection with Emiliano Shullazi. The president of the German Bundestag, Norbert Lammert, paid an official visit in Tirana today. During his visit, the German official gave a speech in the Albanian parliament where he said that political compromise is the only way democracy can function. During the parliamentary meeting, Lammert said, "Albania is one of the countries that I can imagine as a future member of the European Union. I hope that Albania will adopt the reforms without delay. The reforms are the foundation to enable negotiations for entrance into the European Union. The road is difficult, but necessary for Albania's membership in the EU." The president of the German Bundestag and the Assembly Speaker participated in the conference celebrating 25 years of democratic parliamentarism in Albania. The Assembly Speaker admitted that there were problems within Albania's government, which he feels are mainly related to the electoral system. Meanwhile, Mr. Lammert thinks that the problem is with both the absence of dialogue and elections within political parties. Parliament cannot function if there is no political compromise. The parties should respect democratic principles. There should be elections within the parties, he said. The president of the German Bundestag and his delegation held meetings with the Assembly Speaker, Prime Minister, and the President. Kosovo's Minister of Finance was received today by Albania's Minister of Finance. They discussed several issues that both governments will adopt during the upcoming joint meeting. The Albanian Minister of Finance announced that the custom points between Albania and Kosovo will operate 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and that the driving licenses between the countries will be unified in order to reduce the barriers. Kosovo's Minister of Finance declared that today's meeting with his Albanian counterpart was held to review all the points upon which they have already agreed on in the last joint meeting of the two governments. The Albanian and Kosovo governments will hold a third joint meeting with the aim to enhance political and economic cooperation between the countries. That's all for our English edition this evening. Please join us again Monday through Saturday at 6 p.m. for local news in English. My name is Mari, and on behalf of Aura News, thank you and good night.